Eryldene's so special because of the clarity it gives to its own history. It was designed for scholar, linguist and connoisseur Professor Gowrie Waterhouse in 1914.
William Hardy Wilson was not your average suburban architect. He was an architect of independent mind and intelligence, who devised a house to suit the emerging modern life of the 20th century with an influence from the colonial Georgian style and an extraordinary interest in Asia and China.
It's a place I have always loved and admired, and it's provided a lot of joy and satisfaction in my life, and it's something I would like to share.
I've been involved with Eryldene for many years. My mother was involved before me, and now I've come back on to working with the Trust because I'm concerned about where its future lies, how we can sustain it in a new community that's growing up around us, and how we can look after it in the face of climate change. So design-wise, Eryldene gives a lot of clues for contemporary architecture, the indoor-outdoor spaces, the ability to look out windows onto glorious views in the garden. It has wonderful open verandas. It has a very large roof which helps to ventilate the rooms. So when you're sitting on the verandas or in the loggias, you get the feeling of the air moving through the house all the time. It's a well-ventilated, perfect house for the Australian climate.
With a building as significant as Eryldene is, its day-to-day management and its future management must be addressed in a conservation management plan. We've got a lot of craft materials here, like the terracotta tile roof, which is vulnerable to breakage and the impact of tree branches.
So we've noticed that the climate has been changing here over the last few years. We've had longer dry spells, we've had some really intense rainfall which has impacted our roofs, and so recognising that this is happening, we've started to develop a sustainability strategy which helps us understand what we need to do to both adapt and to mitigate some of the aspects of it. We have to think about how we will manage the fabric of the building, and part of what we're doing there is making sure we're keeping the paint up so that all of the windows are well protected and well managed, and to ensure that the building is protected from the weather.
We've also got the management of the garden. We've got to work out the ways of conserving this garden in the face of climate change.
Eryldene Garden covers nearly an acre and is home to probably one of the most important camellia collections in Australia. There are around 500 camellias in this garden. They're a challenge to look after, and there are, I think, 4 or 5 in the garden, of which we have the only known specimen in Australia. Over the last few years, with weather changing, conditions in the garden have changed too. We have tanks under the driveway which collect all the rainwater, and we have changed the variety of grass to something a little hardier and a little less water dependent.
We really want to share our experience with other members of the community and other gardens like Eryldene's, so that we can all start to adapt our horticultural practices, our irrigation practices, think a lot more about the way in which we're maintaining our buildings, and look after them in a way that will fit them for the future, as well as showing us what was so wonderful about the architecture of the past.